Hi everyone, today we'll be talking about mental health and the psychological well-being of student athletes.
Mental health and psychological well-being are crucial aspects of any individual's life, including student athletes. When they take care of their mental well-being, it helps them handle stress, stay positive, and do better in school and sports. So, looking after their mental health is key for their success and happiness.
Okay, so we're looking at the mental health and psychological well-being of student athletes. So let's take a step back and just look at like college students in general. Like, what is mental health to college students? And that is a person's condition with regard to their psychological and emotional well-being. Okay, so that is what mental health is. So let's take a step forward and think, what is mental health in athletes? What is mental health in student athletes? And that is mental health in relation to athletes is a state of successful performance or mental function, resulting in productive activities, fulfilling relationships with other people, and the ability to adapt to change and cope with adversity. So now we kind of know the difference between what just mental health is and what mental health means to student athletes, what it is to student athletes.
How many times a week does an athlete work on their body? Varying per sport, athletes may work out 4 to 6 times per week for 1.5 to 3 hours on top of training for their sport and conditioning.
How many times does an athlete work their brain out weekly? Of the athletes sitting in this room, maybe 0 to 2 of you may work out your brain weekly. Therefore, is it even important? Yes. Mental approaches are very important, such as relaxation techniques, positive self-talk, meditation, focus plans, visualization, and choking or panicking strategies can help athletes confront mental barriers and trust their training to maintain confidence. On top of that, things that can improve brain health are social interaction, physical exercise, food and nutrition, and sleep. And these are all very important in maintaining good mental health, and they should be prioritized in all athletes' routines.
We're going to go over a couple mental health case studies regarding student athletes, and the first one we'll discuss is Sarah Schultz. She was an incredibly high-achieving cross-country runner at the University of Wisconsin. Her friends and family described her as energetic, ambitious, committed, adventurous, and deeply compassionate. She received Star Runner of the Year in 2018 and was described as a top-notch student. However, despite her many achievements and perceived positive outlook on life, Sarah Schultz really struggled with her mental health and ended up taking her own life in March of 2022 at 21 years old. This just goes to show that it can be really difficult to know when someone is struggling from the outside, especially as a student athlete, since they get up every day and do the work and do it at their highest ability.
Lauren Burnett was a successful softball player at James Madison University. On April 24th, she finished a successful weekend going 4 for 4 with a homer and 2 doubles, hitting .778. The following day, she was named Colonial Athletic Association Player of the Week. However, on April 26th, her passing was announced. Following her passing, JMU cancelled the rest of their season and provided mental health resources to the student body. Her passing opened up the discussion about how the pressures of college athletics can have an impact on student athletes' mental health, no matter how successful they are.
Okay, so with everything we've talked about so far, how can the NCAA or institutions/athletic departments help with this issue? And our group has done some research and came up with some different ideas. And we think that awareness and education could help, access to support services, routine mental health check-ins, stress management and coping skills, team support and peer networks, continued support beyond sports, and policy and advocacy. And over the next few slides, we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about each one of these topics.
Educating student athletes, coaches, and staff in recognizing signs of mental health issues is really important in universities. And it's also important to raise awareness about mental health and to reduce the stigma and promote help-seeking behaviors. Stigma is the main barrier that prevents student athletes from getting help, and student athletes tend to have a higher stigma than non-athletes. Coaches play a huge role in the athletes' lives, so it's important for them to provide a safe environment that prioritizes mental health, by discussing it openly with the athletes, providing them with support and resources, and by normalizing the conversation within the group of athletes and just making sure that they have a safe space to talk about it is really important.
Access to support services. There are options such as counseling, therapy, and psychiatric care. This can be through on-campus counseling centers, sports psychologists, or referrals to external mental health professionals.
Implementing regular mental health check-ins as part of an athlete's overall mental health assessment can help identify any issues early on and provide necessary support. This can be done by coaches, athletic trainers, or dedicated mental health professionals. Mental health check-ins can help coaches and athletic trainers recognize when there are changes in a student athlete's mental health. These check-ins can also help providers and coaches recognize warning signs and provide further care for the athlete when needed.
Now we come to the topic of stress management and coping skills. Student athletes often face high levels of stress when trying to balance academics, training, and their competitions. Teaching time management skills as well as stress management skills can help athletes to cope with the pressures of being a student athlete. So, like stress management skills include mindfulness and self-care and also relaxation exercises. And additionally, time management skills are important for student athletes, so they know how to balance their sports and academics. With that said, time management can help athletes keep up with academics by learning how to avoid procrastination and stay organized.
So, another way that the NCAA can help with these issues is with team support and peer networks. So, this is meaning like creating a supportive team environment where athletes feel comfortable discussing their mental health concerns can be beneficial. Peer support networks and team bonding activities can help reduce feelings of isolation and promote a sense of belonging. Therefore, I know a lot of teams already do a lot of team bonding, but this could just have the NCAA kind of make team bonding mandatory, like have so many hours monthly that they still need to do team bonding. Or like when they're in season, make sure that teams have set aside hours for team bonding only, or maybe in the off season, they just focus on team bonding. Like I know with our softball team last in the fall, we did a team bonding retreat. We went down to Broken Bow, spent the weekend at a cabin, and it was just great. Everybody was together, and it's just great to have some team support and some peer support and just know where you're at and that you have a creative and supportive environment around you.
It's essential to provide support for student athletes even after they graduate or transition out of competitive sports. When an athlete graduates or transitions out of a competitive sport, it can be a really complicated and challenging time for them because they have been playing this sport all of their lives. So it can be kind of tough to figure out a new routine and adjust to life outside of sports. So it's really important that they have this continued support to ease the transition and figure out a new routine. This may include alumni networks, career counseling, and ongoing access to mental health services. And I think it's really important for staff to provide these athletes with different services and different places that they can go to if they were to need help.
Policy and advocacy. Universities and sports organizations should have policies in place that prioritize the mental health of student athletes and advocate for their well-being. This may involve creating guidelines for managing stress, promoting work-life balance, and addressing issues such as eating disorders and substance abuse.
By implementing these strategies, universities and athletic programs can better support the mental health and psychological well-being of student athletes, enabling them to thrive both on and off the field. The University of Tulsa is offering an app called Timely Care, which is a free online tool. It provides guided videos, articles, and slides on stress management techniques, like the grounding technique, for example, self-worth building, meditation, yoga, and nutrition support, and furthermore. Additionally, it features a community chat for connection and support in between students. So now after our presentation, we have prepared a discussion question. So we would like you to discuss what you guys think Should counseling or mental training be just as mandatory as physical workouts? What do you think?